Tzu Chi's first Pakistan relief team has finally arrived in the flood-torn country and will soon begin distributing 10 containers of relief supplies, which were shipped earlier from Taiwan. The temperature in the disaster area has reached freezing or below in many areas. Millions are lacking proper shelter, access to clean water and food. Amongst the Tzu Chi relief team are 2 Pakistanis who, when they heard of Tzu Chi's relief mission, offered their help. We joined the team before they left Taiwan.
On Sunday, October 24th at 4 in the morning, Tzu Chi's Pakistan relief team departs from Taiwan's Taoyuan International Airport. Their primary objective is to distribute relief supplies to those in need. The supplies include instant rice, blankets, and water purification tablets, which will hopefully ease the suffering of Pakistan's flood victims.
We will be focusing our relief efforts in Tata and will set up here as well.
2 Pakistanis have joined the 8-man Tzu Chi reconnaissance team. They are Muhammad Kalim and Asif Saeed, who are both successful entrepreneurs and long-time Taiwan residents. As soon as they heard about Tzu Chi's flood relief effort, both signed up to offer their service.
Tzu Chi can do a lot for the flood victims, and by working together, we will be sure to help more people.
Dai TV has also dispatched a news team to document every detail of this trip, so that it may be shared with the rest of the world.
The reconnaissance team shall be on the ground in Pakistan by 6:30 on the evening of October 24th, after nearly 9 hours of flight. Disaster survey and relief distributions will be carried out immediately the next day to ease flood victims' suffering.
The 10 members of Tzu Chi's Pakistan relief team touched down in Sindh province after a 9-hour flight. Brushing off their jet lag, they headed to the local disaster response center early in the next morning to get a better understanding of the situation on the ground. Almost the whole of Pakistan has been hit by flooding, but in Sindh province alone, there are over 4,680 refugee camps. The next stop on the team's busy itinerary is a visit to one of those camps in Tada.
The Tzu Chi disaster relief team arrives at Sindh Province Response Centre to a warm welcome from the director, who's been expecting the volunteers.
It's been so nice that you are here, and we've been waiting for you, the way you have been communicating with us earlier.
The director briefs the volunteers on flood relief progress. In Sindh Province alone, there are more than 4,680 refugee camps and over 1.8 million displaced people. Before assessing flood damage, the Tzu Chi relief team meets the Chief Minister of Sindh Province, Saeed Kaim Ali Shah, who praised the volunteers' efforts. Not pausing for a break, the team, who only arrived in Pakistan the night before, shake off their fatigue and jet lag to meet local businessmen, who, after listening to the volunteers, agreed to help the relief effort. Tzu Chi came to Pakistan after 70,000 people were killed in the earthquake in October 2005, though the situation is very different this time.
In 2005, only particular area was affected, but this time almost whole, Pakistan, all the province affected.
Returning to Pakistan in the aftermath of the floods, Tzu Chi volunteers hope to bring some comfort to affected people. Last Sunday, on October 24th, the day after arriving in Karachi in Pakistan's Sindh province, Tzu Chi's flood relief team was warmly received by the local emergency response centre. Over the past 3 days, volunteers have been working in the severely damaged Tata district, meeting with local officials to discuss aid plans and visiting refugee camps. The tented areas in Tata are currently home to roughly 100,000 flood survivors, only around 45,000 of whom have been receiving food supplies from the UN and other aid groups. Tzu Chi's shipment, containing some 28,000 blankets, 100 tons of instant rice and 1 million water purification tablets, arrived in Karachi on October 27th and is waiting to clear customs. We follow our reporters to Tata for the latest look at the flood-torn region.
The Tzu Chi disaster relief team is on its way to hard-hit Tata city. As you can see, it's a bumpy ride, and the flood has left behind a desolate landscape. To ensure the safety of the Tzu Chi team, the local government has sent police officers as escorts. Everywhere you look, Tada stands listless in the wake of the flood waters. I'm at a clinic in Tada. As you can see, a lot of the patients here have gastrointestinal problems and are waiting in long lines to see the doctor.
There is a problem. There was problem in gastro. diarrhea, skin disease. The mostly people's there was in skin.
The floodwaters also brought with it communicable disease that are infecting people like wildfire. Tzu Chi has stepped onto traumatized land, heading directly to the neediest people with offers of aid and love. Accompanying the Tzu Chi crew is Pakistani entrepreneur Majid, who is providing free medical service at this local clinic for 6,000 flood survivors.
But I want something change, different from the other people, no? So the purpose is to provide the poor people.
Next on their jam-packed schedule, the 8 workers from Taiwan meet with the head of Tata district, Mr. He Sile, who welcomes volunteers cordially. The men quickly get down to business to discuss the next step in the flood relief.
All of the infrastructure, roads, irrigation system, drainage has been damaged. The challenge which we, nearly 875,000 people.
There are some people who have not received any aid. The head of Tata district says, seeing that we have food for disaster victims, he will arrange for someone to take us to the people who have been neglected.
Tzu Chi's first aid distribution, scheduled to take place in early November, will hand out 103 metric tons of instant rice and more than 24,800 blankets to the flood-stricken families to help them through the rough winter.
On the 5th day of Tzu Chi's flood relief team's arrival in Pakistan, the volunteers went to the town of Sujawal in the southern province of Sindh. Sanitation is very poor in the area's tent camps and disease is rife. If Tzu Chi's first shipment of food and blankets and other aid clears customs soon, the distribution could be moved forward to Sunday, October 31st.
These wooden plank and mud brick homes, topped with straw roofs, are where most Pakistanis in Tata live. Upon entry, it is clear the architecture is poorly suited to withstand flood. Holes and pockmarks are everywhere.
The water came from here, and it was all over here, all filled. All the homes here were washed away.
This is the town of Sajawa in Sindh province, along the river Indus. Originally, there were 200 homes here. Now there are 70. The rocks here under my feet, believe it or not, were once a home's foundation.
The furniture is all in the floodwaters. Everything is gone now.
With their homes gone, as the waters have receded, disease has run rampant among the survivors.
My stomach hurts. My children are sick. Their eyes are infected. They have skin allergies. Illness has spread everywhere since the floods.
Within the disaster zones, some 20% of Pakistan's total territory, the sick have little recourse to doctors or medicine. Many people have simply collapsed. Throughout the disaster areas, one sees quilts hanging out to dry, because during the floods, as the survivors fled the waters, their bedding was soaked. Now they give no comfort or protection whatsoever.
Every family should receive a blanket. We figured that what we can't provide, we will purchase locally. The master confirmed today, beyond the food we have brought, whatever we need, we should buy from locals.
The 103 metric tons of food supplies and nearly 25,000 Tzu Chi blankets should arrive at the end of this month, at which time Tzu Chi volunteers may begin to personally deliver the relief to the survivors, hopefully to satisfy these desperate bodies and souls.
First up, volunteers in Pakistan in a video conference with the Tzu Chi headquarters in Taiwan had to switch to the telephone when the hotel suffered a power cut on Friday, but they managed to give the latest update on how they were buying rice and blankets locally. Meanwhile, the 10 containers of aid shipped in from Taiwan should get through customs in a couple of working days. The supplies will bring relief to some 6,800 people. Before that, the volunteers gave out some smaller packets of food to hungry people in the Tata area of Sindh province in southern Pakistan.
Cooking a few slices of potato over an open fire, 60-year-old Adshah has had a dazed look in his eyes ever since the shock of the flood 3 months ago.
When the flood came, our home was washed away. We haven't got over the shock.
Adshah's wife and 3 children used to have 3 huts, but now only 1 is left. Tzu Chi volunteers hand out instant rice to feed the hungry family.
If cold water, this is cold water, right? You put it Then 40 minutes, you can eat.
This is Tata in Sindh province, where 100,000 people are affected, 40,000 of whom are not getting outside aid. The volunteers try to reach those in need. Where the road has been washed away, there's a huge hole that's affecting traffic. Despite the obstacles, volunteers get to the next village.
The flood was this high. My home is all gone.
Behind me is a huge pond that used to have 4 homes, but now there's only water and mosquitoes. The force of the water swept away homes and farms. Volunteers visiting Irfan's family in their crowded tent hand out instant rice to the hungry father.
This instant rice is a great help. I don't have to use gas to cook it. I can eat it after soaking it.
Pakistani volunteer Asif, who is a Chinese speaker, says he has learned a lot with the team for the last 4 days.
After walking this path for a dozen years, this time is very serious. Added to the fact that they were already poor. Master Zeng Yan is very wise. She's been concerned about the flood since August.
Armed with the wisdom of Master Zeng Yan, the volunteers from Taiwan will soon be handing out the first major shipment of food and blankets to bring comfort and warmth to the flood victims.
Tzu Chi's relief team in Pakistan is busy making preparations for their first distribution, a large-scale event that will take place on November 3rd in Sindh province, in the plains that flank the Indus River. The team estimates that some 6,800 families will be served, with each receiving 15 kilos of rice and 4 blankets. The number of victims served is expected to exceed 20,000, so with only 8 people in their team, the Tzu Chi group is busy recruiting local Pakistani volunteers to help with the mission. Leading this group will be local volunteer Asif Saeed, who will be managing 20 student volunteers from the University of Karachi. The survey team also organized an emergency volunteer training session at a local Karachi hotel.
The Tzu Chi logo has traveled to Pakistan from Taiwan to bring charity to this troubled land. Today, volunteers are organizing a training seminar for local volunteers. The trainees are some 20 students from the University of Karachi.
Tzu Chi Foundation started its charity work with 30 housewives, each saving 50 cents.
Through a video, the students are shown Tzu Chi's near 45-year history.
Thank you to Tzu Chi for coming to Pakistan to help the victims of the flooding.
Footage taken by the Dai Channel news team that has been covering the disaster is an important part of the debriefing. Most local university students haven't been able to visit the disaster area. The reports give them an impression of the extent of the suffering and hardship.
Very happy to work with you guys, and we hope that we will do it with energy, and we will never fall it down.
Asif Saeed will be leading this group in its mission of hope. After 8 days of travel and evaluation with the disaster survey team, today he has brought his 6-year-old son, Mufas, to join in the training.
Tzu Chi is really very special, a great help to people in need.
Tzu Chi survey team leader Chen Jingfa has worked in international relief for 17 years. The 63-year-old, who is the owner of a paper factory, gives up family time and business opportunities to volunteer.
Today you could say these 20 or more university students are our fresh troops and also our seeds. I think these flood victims have hope, and I can see their hope.
Tzu means compassion. Chi means relief.
Team member Zhu Zhangling is a successful South Asian businessman and has become the main bridge linking Tzu Chi's work to the people of Pakistan.
It's like the master says, linking ever more people through good karma is an investment in the future.
Tzu Chi's disaster relief team is ready and waiting to bring aid to flood victims in Pakistan.